Hey everybody, and welcome back to Miranda Pitrone Art. I am Miranda, back with you to just do a fun, quick little swipe star tonight. I'm so glad to be painting in the studio these days, but I just wanted to show on my website that I do have a link. I got back on Instagram, so just trying to build that back up again. We'll see. I'm not really sure if it'll work out because y'all probably know how that went last time. So here's my website. Looking for items to shop for, you just click on the shop tab here. It'll take you right to all the items that I have in my shop, from tools to you name it. The lids from the last video are here, that type of stuff. All the videos are here as well. Just links right to the YouTube. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. It just takes you all to the same place, which is very handy. And my computer's just really slow tonight.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Miranda Pitrone Art.
Wow.
I'm Miranda.
Alright, so I also have a photo gallery that I've been working on. So there's photography from my art, but there's also photography from where I get my stones and places that we like to go walking. So if you're looking for something a little different, here's where I find stones and really nice sunsets. But if you're just looking for something else, you could check out my photography on here as well. Alright, so today we are going to start with a wood star, and I've painted the black background on it. And I'm just going to do mostly swipes on this one and just see how it goes. So I'm also interested in your opinions on this because I have some side-by-side camera technology that I'm trying out here. So I would love to hear what you guys think about it. I have some opinions on it, but I'm not going to tell you one way or another because I don't want to sway your opinion. But I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Like, dislike, just tell me in words. Don't click the dislike, please, on the video. Okay, let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, I have painted my wood star black, and we're going to get up and running here with both side by side. So the first color I'm using is called Chick, like little baby chick. It's a nice calm yellow, and it's in the multi-surface line from the Decor Americanas. So I just want to say too, I didn't coat this with anything other than black paint. Sometimes you might have to seal a piece of wood so your paint doesn't absorb too much, and that will help so the paint doesn't do things you don't want it to do. So I drew myself some guidelines once I found the center from each of where the angles are, where the points meet, in towards the center. And then I just marked that center with one little dot. And then we're just going to do 5 headed in towards the center. Now we're using fruit punch. And to do these swipes, I'm just using the etcher tool. I might use a stylus later just to kind of show that, but mostly just the etcher tool because I just wanted to do a quick little project. And the fruit punch swipes are actually in line with the points on the star. And mine are about 1/2 inch long. So the yellow ones are longer. They actually went from each angle that connected all the way in. And so here I'm just dragging the paint a little closer to the center by using the sharp pointed edge on my etcher tool, just to kind of finish up the tail a little bit closer in there. So here I have coral shell, and the side-by-side glitched a little on this because it is not working out 100%, but I'm just putting one little dot at each of those pink with the coral shell. So this is the 2mm stylus, and I am going to put some dots in here to kind of outline our center. It's the blue one in this set, and this is the angled ones that I make. And I'm just going on the side of the peach dot, coral shell dot that we put down, and then letting the paint run out the tool, off the tool up to the top of those yellow swipes. So this might be a little quick for you. You might have to pause and come back and do these things, but sometimes watching it all the way through, because it's not a super long video, you can just watch it all the way through and then come back. Or the star itself is only about, it's 3 inches from the top point to where the bottom 2 legs of the star connect. So you can even draw one. Alright, I'm going to put a dot on these, and we're just going to drag it actually towards the edge into like a teardrop shape. So I'm gonna grab my etcher to do that and just kind of pull the paint out towards the edge into that teardrop shape. And this again is the yellow. There's only 4 colors and then white and black in this. It makes it a little bit easier. And as usual, I'll list everything in the description for y'all as well. The colors used and tools to find, varnish, all that stuff, the turntable. Alright, so now I'm just taking that purple pizzazz and I'm gonna swipe in towards each of the coral shell dots along where we put the larger purple dots. So I literally am touching the wood. There's no hovering above the surface. There's no, I don't know, I see a lot of people saying just barely hover and barely touch it, but I'm drawing like a pencil. So that's how hard I'm actually pushing down. So I do want to caution you though, if you're trying to get these really close to the dots and both sides are wet, just be really careful, because the paint, if it catches one another, it will bleed into each other. Alright, so now I just mixed a little bit of white and a little bit of the fruit punch together in with the purple pizzazz. I didn't have this color purple, so I wanted it a little bit lighter and still kind of a little pinkish. So again, it's just the fruit punch, a little bit of white, and then the purple pizzazz mixed in. You can see from the palette, I have 3 different colors in that palette. It's just from adding a little bit of white to each. And this is what you got. So you can see from the top angle too, we're really just kind of filling in the center, swiping to the center of each coral dot. And when if the tail doesn't go out long enough, I just grab a little farther up and then wick the paint down a little bit farther. So you're just grabbing that tail and dragging it out a little longer. So this again, I just took the purple and put only white in it. So they got this lighter purple. There's no pink in it. I just put a little bit of white in the purple pizzazz. Now you should have 3 rows, dark to light purple. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab that coral blush. This one is a little bit darker than the coral shell. And next to each of our fruit punch swipes here, I'm going to put a line of that coral blush. And I think we'll do it on either side of the fruit punch. And you're just pulling it out, taking your time towards that center dot. Okay, so now I'm going to show you with the dotting stylus how we can drag a swipe out with these. So I just dipped it in the coral shell, and I'm starting up at our little yellow teardrop. I'm actually touching the piece of wood and then just dragging it out as long as the paint will go. So this is about 1 inch long. You can see from the side too, it just wicks to the wood, so if you just keep on going, it will touch. Okay, now I'm going to grab that coral blush again, and just like we did either side of the fruit punch, I'm going to do either side of the coral shell here. And this again is with the dotting stylus. So just be careful if you're working wet to wet that you don't really hit them into each other, because they will bleed into one another. Once it gets down to like the tail area, it's not so bad, but up in the top, the paints will mix over one another. And it looks fast, but really just take your time, pause if you need to. Okay, so something happened that didn't show how I put the coral shell in between the yellow and the coral blush. So you can see it kind of completed our center. I took the lighter one and I pulled it down along either side of the yellow, and I just tucked it in there. So I'm going to go back to the fruit punch now, and up top in between our purple and our coral shell, I'm going to put one last swipe in here to kind of complete the top area here. And you can see the difference in those first two that I just did. One is thicker tailed than the other. It's just because I had more paint on there. So if you want them more uniform, you can just put a dot and then pull it out with another tool. Or you could fatten it up with more paint. It's just a matter of consistency. So it's just because I'm not as well practiced with the angled tools and doing swipes. It's much easier for me with a brush. But in the end, you'll see no one's going to notice and say, well, that tail was thicker than that tail. It's art. We're not machines. It's okay for it to not be exactly the same as every other one you did. Every dot does not have to be in the exact place. It's not a machine. It's not a stamp. It's a human being creating, which I think is awesome. So see, I got too much in there and I can't tuck it in, so I'm going to switch to the small end and then just finish dragging it out into the space there. So there's lots of little tips and tricks that you can do rather than try to force it down in there with the larger tool. Could have also used the etcher to drag the tail out more. So you'll see as you go. And that's what our lovely little star looks like so far at the top. So I'm going to take a little bit of white here and just give it some pops of brightness around, kind of lighten up where the black is still showing through, and then I'll probably throw some top white dots here and there. So for now, this is the 2mm blue stylus, just putting 2 larger dots on either side of our yellow teardrop. And I'm just going to take the etcher here and put a couple little dots to kind of fill in the space just a bit more. Trying trying to figure out where I can hold on to it where there's not wet paint. And you can see too, the white kind of just gives it a nice little delicate brightening up at the edges here. Kind of reminds me of a starfish. I'm not sure. I'm in the star shape obviously, but in my brain. I always go to the sea and the ocean. So I like to look at it on my camera sometimes, or just the screen, to kind of see, does it look like it needs something from afar? So I think I'm going to top dot with some white to kind of brighten up just the large yellow swipes. And then I'll also do the large coral shell swipes on the outer arms. You can see the difference if you just look at it quick now. The ones that have white just look a little bit more bright, a little more depth to them. And it just gives it a different look to put some dots on there. And then down the coral shell. So these are already dry. I don't think I'd try to do this unless the swipes were already dry, so. And then just taking the etcher and walking them out down the swipe here. I'm just looking at it again here on the screen just to kind of debate if I want to do anything else. I think I might lighten up a couple of these purples. So I'll use the purple that we mixed with the white. And on the purple that we mixed with the pink, I'm going to put just the shade lighter. We'll just put some dots in here. I honestly can't say why. Sometimes I just like to test things out, see how they look. Sometimes it just feels like it needs something more. Sometimes you'll keep on going and be like, I don't know when to stop dotting, I'm not getting that feeling. So sometimes I'll just stop and come back to it like the next week or something, and then you can kind of gauge how you feel about it again, fresh, new set of eyes. But also looking at the screen helps me do that. So you're seeing it kind of outside of you're working on it close up. Here, I think I'm going to let it be at that. And I debated putting some of this on there, but I changed my mind. So I will varnish this with Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, and that's how I protect my work. I will leave the links in the description for y'all to try out any of the products that I have in my videos and a couple other fun ones. And if you could just tell me if you liked the side-by-side, what you did or didn't like about the video. I love constructive criticism and I love hearing from y'all, even if it's just a hi in the comments, where you're from, a little heart, anything, just to interact with the video a bit, help an artist out. I hope you are all awesome today, and I hope you enjoyed painting this with me, and I will see you all again real soon, I hope. Have a great day. Happy painting.